What is up people, this is Virus HQ and this video is going to be a follow-up video to the Highlight Go PN532 NFC reader. Now the previous video it was based on an ESP8266 and an Arduino. But in this video we're going to be talking about connecting it to a Raspberry Pi over I2C. So let's get started. Now we already talked about the module and the contents of it, so go through the last video if you want to learn more about it. But right now we are going to get it on a Raspberry Pi. So let's get our terminal open, and this is the terminal. Now we need to make sure that the module is connected as such. Once you connect it, just make sure to check it. So we'll just run this thing, I2C detect -y1. And if you have an older Raspberry Pi, it would be sudo I2C detect -y0. And it's on channel 24. So that makes sure that we have our NFC module installed. Next, let's get the libraries for the NFC. So lib NFC5, NFC.bin, and NFC examples. And we grab the libraries. Now we need to check if our device is there or not. So let's just run NFC scan device, and it found a device and it's this one. But in case you have issues finding the device, what you need to do is you need to open up the NFC lab config file as sudo nano, and at the end of this file you'll just need to add these two lines: device name and device connection string. Add it and save, and if you run this thing again, it will show you the output. Now the same thing if we do it for scan device -v, we'll get the version as well as we got in the Arduino. And even if you type in NFC list, you get the list of NFC devices that are added. Now that that's done, we can easily just pull the data in. So it's just going to be NFC-pull, and it's going to wait for the device to detect an NFC signal or an NFC data input. So if you just tap a card on it, it will grab all its data. Those are the 7 bytes, and it will show, and that's it. Now you can use it like this in your code and like call this thing using bash, or you could go the Python route and get it done. Now for me, getting the Python thing running, it took me a bit of digging around, and I also tried the Adafruit library, but it didn't work so good for me. So I had to go with a different library, and that library is this one from Hub City Labs, PY532lib. Now this library is really nice, but the only issue is that there's no default example. But you can just check the links in the description for the GitHub repo, and I'll have the example over there for this thing. So what you need to do is we just need to clone this. So just copy this thing, come over here, and clone it. But since I already have it on the drive, I can't just get it or like just clone it. Next, what you need to do is just go through open that folder up. So cd pi532lib, that's it, and these are the contents of it. So now let's make a new file. Now what we need to do is we just need to like add this code in there, and I'll show you what it is. So since we are talking to it via I2C, so we'll just add the I2C, the frame and the constants. Now these things define a lot of variables which are needed for the PN532 chip. Next, we define the variable PN532 as PN532 I2C. Next, as we did on the Arduino sketch, we wanted to just detect the cards, so SAM config, and then card data equal to PN532.read myfair, because it's a myfair card and it'll get data from it, and then it'll just print the data. And let's just save this. And this is a Python 3 library. It won't work with Python 2 because it uses quick I2C. Now if you just run this library, it will wait for the user to touch the card on the NFC thing, and it will read the byte array. Now it's up to the user to decide what to do. You can convert it to a normal string, characters, or whatever. If you run it again and use the different card, it's going to show us the different data that it has stored on it. So that's about it using this. It's a really simple thing and you can use it for whatever you want, but I'll show you this demo example which I showed in the previous video with the LCD, so you can check that video out as well. And this is the demo that I wrote using this. In this, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the LCDs. I combined the LCD library along with the PN532 library and made them work together. If it detects one type of card, it's gonna show a success thing, and if the card's wrong, it's just gonna show that it's an invalid card. So thank you for watching this video. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, subscribe to the channel, share it, go through my other videos, and see you next time.